Irving awakens in the middle of a vast, desolate ice field. The cold bites at his skin, and the landscape stretches endlessly in every direction. It's unclear whether this is his innie or outie, but before he can process his surroundings, a voice cuts through the silence. Mark stands on a distant cliff, shouting frantically. Startled, Irving scrambles to his feet and begins making his way across the icy expanse. As he climbs toward the cliffside, he spots Helly struggling to navigate the slippery terrain. The two exchange a brief, confused glance before following Mark's voice. Suddenly, Dylan bursts out of the nearby woods, his face a mix of awe and terror. "I knew there was no sky, but this is King insane," he yells, gesturing wildly at the surreal environment. The group reunites at the base of the cliff, their breaths visible in the freezing air. As they catch their bearings, a familiar melody begins to play, Kier's theme music. They turn to find a small AV setup, a DVD player, and a TV on a stand. Mark steps forward and hits play. The screen flickers to life, revealing Mr. Milchick. "Welcome," Milchick begins, his tone cheerful yet unsettling. "Your outies have agreed to send you on a 2-day retreat to the Dieter-Egan National Forest. Consider this a reward for your hard work." The group exchanges uneasy glances. Milchick continues, anticipating their confusion. "There is a 4th appendix left behind by Kier Egan upon his passing. This document has been shielded from the severed floor, but if you travel to Scissor Cave, you will find it. This location holds great significance in the Kier belief system." The video ends with Milchick assuring them that help is on the way. As the screen goes dark, the group turns and notices a figure standing on the cliffside. It resembles Mark, but its features are indistinct. The figure points toward the forest, and after a moment of hesitation, NDR begins to follow the path. Her voices his distrust of Milchick, but Mark counters. "We don't have many options here." Reluctantly, Irving agrees, and the group ventures deeper into the woods. The forest grows denser, the trees towering overhead and casting long shadows. The group soon encounters another figure, this one resembling Helly. It points silently toward a cave hidden among the rocks. With no other direction to go, they climb down into the cave. Inside, they find a single book resting under a spotlight. The cover bears the Roman numeral 4. Picks up the book and begins to read aloud. The 4th appendix reveals that Dieter Egan was Kier's twin brother. Dieter had abandoned his life of privilege to live as a pauper in the woods, and Kier had followed him to a place called Woe's Hollow. The text instructs NDR to follow in Dieter's footsteps. The group presses on, the weight of the revelation settling over them. As they walk, Herb continues reading from the appendix. Suddenly, they come across another figure, this one resembling Dylan. Unlike the previous apparitions, this one is closer, its features more distorted and unsettling. Mark and Helly exchange a glance, their unease growing. Irving notices their interaction and grows suspicious. When the group pauses to rest, Irving pulls Mark aside. "I don't trust her," Irving whispers, gesturing toward Helly. "What did she see from her outie? She's hiding something." Mark tries to reassure him, but their conversation is interrupted by a strange sound. The group turns to see a creature near the riverbank. It's unclear what it is, perhaps a seal or something more otherworldly. Irving suggests they eat it, but the others dismiss the idea, blaming his paranoia on his previous time outside. Tensions rise as Irving turns on Dylan, demanding to know what he told Mark. Dylan remains tight-lipped, and the group decides to move on without addressing the creature. The forest eventually opens up to reveal a majestic waterfall. As the group approaches, they notice their doppelganger standing beside the water. The sight is both mesmerizing and unnerving. Before they can react, Milchick emerges from the woods, dressed in a pristine white outfit. "These are your twins," he explains. "You've made it to the hallowed ground." Irving, visibly exhausted, asks for food. Milchick jokes about the grandeur of the waterfall being enough to sustain them, but he soon leads them to a campsite. As night falls, the group arrives at the tents. Miss Huang is there, cooking a large roast over a fire. Milchick lists the amenities, food, dessert, and even multiply toilet paper in the outhouse. Later, the group gathers around the fire. Miss Huang plays a haunting melody on an instrument, while Milchick reads from the 4th appendix. The story takes a dark turn as Kier describes Dieter's death, his eye popping out of its socket, and his encounter with a creature known as Whoa! Irving questions the story's validity, but Helly bursts into laughter. She finds the tale absurd, particularly the part about Dieter's masturbation as a morality lesson. Milkshake grows increasingly angry, eventually ordering Miss Huang to throw the carefaced marshmallows into the fire. Dylan protests, but Milkshake snaps. Marshmallows are for team players, Dylan. As Milkshake storms off, Helly and Mark continue laughing. Irving accuses them of flirting and confronts Helly about her Audi's secrets. His anger escalates, and he berates Mark for being distracted by Helly. You're too focused on her to find your own Audi, Irving shouts before storming away. Mark visits Helly's tent to tell her a joke about Dieter. As they laugh, the tension between them dissolves, and they grow closer. The camera fades as they begin to undress. Meanwhile, Irving wanders through the woods, his torchlight flickering. He stumbles and drops the torch into the snow, leaving him in darkness. He calls out for Milkshake, but receives no response. Eventually, he finds the creature's carcass from earlier and lies against it, falling asleep. Irving wakes to find himself not in the forest, but in the aftermath of a disaster. The trees are shattered, and he can see his warm desk through the wreckage. He sits down to work, but the ghostly figure of Woe appears beside him, typing endlessly. Irving jolts awake, back in the woods. He tries to find his way to camp, but instead encounters Helly at the waterfall. He accuses her of being cruel and demands to know who sent her Audi to the severed floor. In a fit of rage, Irving drags Helly into the water, demanding Milkshake turn her back into her innie. As he holds her under, Helen pleads for the switch to be turned off. Milkshake radios in, and Helly's innie returns. Irving apologizes, but Milkshake declares him dismissed for attempted murder. Milkshake orders Irving to walk into the woods, where his severed side will be permanently deactivated. Irving smiles defiantly as he disappears into the trees, leaving the group in stunned silence. If you enjoyed our recap video, make sure to hit like and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. For more amazing videos, press the bell icon so you never miss an update.